Minum. There we go. Plusle and Minum.
Welcome to 28 Days of Pokemon, where every day through February we document and share a new Pokemon adventure.
As a Pokemon collector, you've probably come across connector art cards. These really cool art cards stretch across 2 or 3 or even more cards to form one big picture, and they are super cool. I haven't always been Coffee's trusty sidekick. Last century I studied fine art, and for 25 years I was a graphic designer working in some of the biggest ad agencies in the world, working on global brands. Pokemon really hadn't been my thing. I hadn't really been a handheld game person, I'd been a PC gamer. However, I did spend my formative years ingesting a lot of Japanese anime. I grew up watching Speed Racer, Kimber the White Lion and Astro Boy, and I still look back on Speed Racer and consider Speed Racer as one of the more influential design / aesthetic things in my early childhood. And then as I got a bit older, I started watching the Studio Ghibli stuff, which it just had that really cool retro aesthetic, and that stuff was just super cool. It wasn't really a surprise when I sort of got sucked into the orbit of the behemoth that is Pokemon and everything that goes with it. And here I am doing a video on connector art. So the first connector art that I could come across, I think, would have been in 1998. It came out of a set that you got in a vending machine, but it was Nidrino and Nidrina. Probably said them not quite right. They were placed on a background. There was the same background though. There were 2 Pokemon side by side but in different cards, but the background was the same. Through the years, connector art it didn't really develop as a proper connecting art until more recently. I think the first proper connecting one was in 2006, where you actually had Plusle and Minum. There we go, Plusle and Minum, and they were running along with Plusle holding Minum's ear and Minum holding Plusle's ear, and they were pulling each other, and it's a chain that can go on forever and ever. There was other connecting arts earlier on, but they were like big pictures. They were a bit different, like the Southern Islands binder series. There was pictures on the inside of the binders that showed all of the Pokemon doing things on the islands, but if you got your cards, they don't really line up, but you've got to overlap them, and in some cases, like say with the Pidgeot, there's not much of the actual Pidgeot card itself that's not overlapping with if it's 2 counterparts there. Then there was in September 2001, there was a set that contained Sudowoodo, Celebi and Sneasel. It made this picture, which is a really cool picture, but when you put the cards onto them, you actually had to shrink 2 of the cards down quite substantially to make it all fit together. It was kind of like, so it was a connected art but wasn't a connector art. And there was even quite a large one done for Pop Series 9, where there was a big picture of all of the Pokemon put together. You can see that they're sort of together, but they're sort of not. Then you'll see there's Lopunny and Baneri, who really share the same real estate. Like the artist, was it Midori Harada, had decided to that was another good spot to put another Pokemon, but she'd already put one there, and so the other one had to come off, and away we went. So the Secret Garden set by Ayuki Ozaki. This one's a bit odd because this artist has done some other drawings and other illustrations that really do look like they could fit into this scene, and people have been trying their absolute darndest to make them fit into the scene, but they don't. There might be a further artwork coming along at some stage where the artist manages to put them into them, but yeah, there's certainly no room in this particular piece of art. This set is a set of 6 cards. We do have them all here, but I don't want to cut them up. And apart from that, when you cut them up, it's going to make a small picture. And you see people doing this one quite regularly, but it's a kind of a small picture. In fact, the finished size is not much bigger than the Pokemon card itself. How do you display them? They don't fit inside a binder. You can't put them just up on a shelf. You can cut them up and stick them on pieces of paper. They're really sort of a bit troublesome. I've come up with a method of displaying these cards that I think is really, really good. You don't have to spend a lot of money cutting up your expensive or hard to find cards, and you're not going to destroy good cards in the process. Like, how am I going to do this? How are we going to display these things that are going to look decent, that's going to be effective, it's not going to ruin good cards? We're going to use our computer. We're just going to go and get the digital files to put together the cards. So if you've got the original cards, like we've got the art set for the garden scene, I don't want to cut up the cards. And besides cutting up the cards, when you do cut up the cards, the scene's going to be small and you're not going to really see it. It's a really, really cool scene with this secret garden and hidden steps and everything. Doing it digitally, I've been able to work out a layout that fits on an A3 sheet. So we have 3 either side of the original cards, and we're going to put them in sleeves and put some double-sided tape behind them so they sit there nicely behind the glass, or perspex as it is in this case. And I'll be able to blow the center section up quite large and it'll look absolutely great. And you'll be able to actually see it up close and have a look at all the details. Here's the one I've done. It's a printout, an A3 printout, just in an A2 frame from Kmart. And so the main thing is you want to try and leave a mat, leave some space around it, because the presentation with these things, if you don't leave a mat around something, it's always going to look a bit not quite finished. And so putting a mat around things, even though this is just a laser print, it looks $1 million. I also want to put together a couple more if I get time. I love the Mega Venusaur and his mates. There's my personal favourite, which is the Spidop and Tarantula. Right, looks like we lost some footage there. I was going to talk about some of the other cool Connect art that I found. Some old Arceus cards that were really cool. There was the Spidop stuff. A few other things that seem to have gone missing. So it looks like we might do another video, which would be, I very much enjoyed this one, so why not? We'll do another one coming down the track sooner or later. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.